Here's your desk.
Yes, is my modular synthesizer. Started building it around 2017. It's still like a work in progress. Keep still not all full. The case I built myself here. Um, then I got here a bunch of synthesizers, vintage synths that I was lucky enough to find in Egypt, and I don't think I would have found them or bought them if I was anywhere else because they would have been super expensive. And I was lucky enough to find Hani Michel, who used to be the technician for Ammar al one of the biggest Egyptian composers of like the 80s and 90s. And the guy's super experienced, so he's seen everything. So you got some Japanese ones here. Got this one's Italian, the Krumar from 1980s electric piano. And here you got some American ones, Ensoniq. I love Ensoniq. It was like most of the American synth companies they did in the 80s because of the Japanese pressure. The Japanese were just yeah, they dominated the market with the Yamaha Roland and Cord. But Ensoniq was one of the awesomest companies ever. They were actually created in the early 80s by a team of computer scientists that worked on the Commodore computer. And so they were like computer geniuses, and they figured, oh, why don't we put that synth chip, this voice chip, to make our keyboards? And they made Ensoniq, one of my favorite American companies. And was lucky enough to find the SQ80, which is a digital oscillator analog filter, one of the last ones from 1987 to have like a analog filter and a digital oscillator. And this one's from '93, the TS10. That was one of their flagships, synthesizers, workstations. And I also have here the EPS, but it's out getting because all these have floppies to save presets and sequences, and now you could exchange them for USB card readers,
Cool.
which makes them more just easy to work with in the modern workflow. I'm getting the EPS 16 is a 1989 sampler, which is not here. Over here we got like the 70s corner. These are Italian synthesizers. Yeah, Italian synths are rare, but in Egypt, because of proximity and the relations historically, like we have Italian synths like Farfisa and Seal and Elka and all these brands. So I was lucky enough to find the Mono, which is a mono synth from 78 or 79, and the Cruise, which was their combination of the mono and their string synthesizer. So it's a polysynth also from like 80 or 81. And this one is the Yamaha organ from I think late 70s, probably 78. Yeah, it just looks dope because it's red.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's a beauty.
Yeah. And yeah, these are a bunch of drum machines also. Like 707s are quite famous. It was used on a lot of Egyptian 90s pop, funnily enough. But abroad, or in the West, it's known for like Italo disco from the 80s. And this one is one of the last Roland super drum machines from '89, the R8, which was used a lot in industrial electronic music. Uh, yeah, all this stuff I wouldn't have bought if I was living back in the UK or in the West because they're really expensive, and then the modern counterparts are, I believe, as good, and you could get great sounds out of them too. But because in Egypt you find these ads, and like I go to these villages, and they're mostly like in a very bad state, and you have to fix them up. It becomes like almost like treasure hunting, and then you're finding that treasure in the desert kind of. I think it's fun, and I get to use them. Oops. So that